Hello, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about communication or a certain aspect of difficulties in communication. Have you ever had this situation when you had a conversation with someone and it ended up badly? Badly in a way that you couldn't understand actually what on earth happened. And it was like, what happened here? What did I say? Why you're so upset? And I'm talking not about some toxic or narcissistic manipulation. I'm talking about normal conversation when you were polite and everything went okay, and all of a sudden some one sentence or one word or even your body language, something about you upset the other person. Completely unexpected way. It came as a surprise and you're thinking, what was that? Did I say something wrong? How that happened that I upset you? I don't understand. And you have this feeling like actually this person is literally is not even there with you in this conversation anymore. All of a sudden, the person changed. Like somebody else is in the front of you. And the person became absent and is kind of referring to a completely different story. Sometimes you can have even situation when you're just talking on, like I said, you have a conversation, you have a contact with a person and everything goes well, and all of a sudden you said something or you expressed something or you have had a gesture and the person is upset and it got anxious and is angry and tells you back something like, oh, you're acting like my mother, or you're acting like my father, or like you're just like my sister. And you feel like you haven't done anything. You're just yourself. But the other person is upset and is suggesting you that you're acting like somebody else, like member of the family. And you're finding out one time after another that the communication or any contact with that person becomes really difficult, becomes full of tension, risky, becomes struggle, basically. So one of the reasons behind is exactly what I actually said and what sometimes we can actually sense when it's happening. The person is not present. The person is gone. I mean, somebody you talk to is all of a sudden absent. And that person jumps somewhere into the past. Emotionally, subconsciously, jumps back into the past. It's like time traveling, but in an emotional way. And that person you're talking to, which is all of a sudden so triggered, upset, emotional, anxious, sad, hurt by your words, without any reasons. It's like I said, is doing that time travel and is feeling very strong emotions, but not related to this conversation right now with you, but related to the past. For example, to personal childhood trauma. So the question is, what have you done? Probably not much, or even nothing. Is it related to you? Again, probably not much. What you said, what you've done, or even your very presence, your personality, whatever, it's just a trigger. Is that person who basically is coming back to the past and is feeling emotions from the past. That's why these emotions and the reactions are so inadequate, are so strong, are completely out of the proportion. What can you do in this situation? First, take emotional step back and realize that probably something is going on here, and probably there's nothing you can do but to stay calm. And we all are doing that from time to time, because we all have our issues, our memories, our traumas. So most probably sometimes you had reactions like that. Obviously I had many times. So these reactions which first you were like overwhelmed, and then after all this event you were thinking, actually, why I reacted in such a strong way? What happened here? Exactly that's what happened. Most probably that was something from the past. And it's not necessarily that you will remember the event, but the emotions are still there. And you're kind of, like I said, you're jumping back in time. And you're experiencing these emotions again. That's why reaction is that strong. And people who are not aware of that, or they do not accept that they can have these problems, and they can have these reactions out of proportions. If they don't want to accept that, and they reject the very fact that they might have some issues, unsolved issues, unprocessed emotions and traumas, in this present moment are rejecting, are full of denial, and they can still search for a reason in the present situation, in the present moment, which means very often if they have very strong emotional reaction, too strong, they would blame you, for example, or they would blame the environment. Because they are not asking that question, why am I acting this way? Why do I feel so strongly about this? Why all of a sudden everything is triggering me? So, first of all, accept the fact that it might be not something from the present moment, but actually something from the past. if I can see my own reactions as they are out of the proportions, then I can at least assume that it has nothing to do with a certain situation. Certain situation can be just a trigger. Even if I don't remember what was all about in the past, I don't remember anything. I do not associate my present emotions with any past event or trauma. Still, I can at least assume that it might be related. So that helps me to be more present right now. That helps me to realize that I can at least to be more objective as much as possible right now. And these situations, when we come back in time, so-called, are very bizarre. And actually, like I said, it's something which happened to us, but not only to us. It might be something which happened, for example, to our parents, and we inherited their traumas and their emotions because they never sorted that out. They never processed that fully. That's why we got that as inheritance. We might have reactions and emotions which we inherited even from our grandparents and other members of the family. This is something I realized and I found out on my course of constellations, family constellations and systemic constellations. I was amazed how much actually we carry on within us, inside of us. If it comes to emotions, it comes to feelings, how much we inherited from somebody else. And we think that this is something about us, and we think this is something wrong with us because our reaction is out of the proportions. When I started to analyze and I started to learn about the subject, which, like I said, it sounds very bizarre, and a lot of people still don't get it and still think it's ridiculous, and I respect that. I know it's hard to even comprehend with this very thought, because we think we are separate and our thoughts are our thoughts and our emotions are our emotions, and that's it. So when I started to learn about the subject, I started to understand and realize how many my emotions, very strong emotions and very strong feelings, which sometimes I'm carrying on even from my childhood, how many of that actually was mine from my personal experience, but how much of it was not even mine. And some of them I recognized recently as something which I remember, for example, my mom used to feel, or my dad. And there are certain very strong emotions and feelings which I couldn't associate with anything till I found out more informations about my grandparents and what they experienced during the Second World War. They survived the war, Second War in Poland. So, like I said, emotions and feelings which I couldn't understand, very strong. Very, very strong. Sometimes to the point that actually it led to anxiety or even panic attacks. And of course I thought, what's wrong with me? And turned out that some of it was mine, but a lot, it was something which I was carried on from the past, from people who lived before me, who experienced these traumas before me. And though I didn't experience anything like that, but I experienced, to some degree, very strong emotions associated with the events. And my grandparents, after war, couldn't deal with these emotions. They just had to carry on. They just had to live. There was no space and there was no therapies back then. You just had to live, move on, and forget about the past. And actually a lot of people do it till this day now. So whatever they couldn't process, whatever they had to just forget and just live, carry on, start the family, etc. Whatever they had to bury it, I carry on my shoulders, just like my parents. They also had it, and they passed it over. The same with my siblings. They inherited something too, very strong emotions. And then just in the normal daily life, it comes back and is haunting us in the most unexpected, surprising situations and in the most surprising way. Like I said, all of the sudden, you can explode out of the proportion and then realize, why on earth I had this reaction again? It has nothing to do with the situation right now. That's how it works. That's what exactly was going on. And when I started to address the issues, I started, first of all, to realize that my reactions had not much to do with the certain events, but had a lot to do with the past, my parents' past, my grandparents, and so on. When I accepted that, actually, the process started. The process of healing, much deeper than through behavioral therapy. Well, at least that worked for me. And long story short, right now, the situations and the sudden events which would cause extreme reaction in the past for me, right now can create the anxiety but not to that degree. Or if even I would be caught in the emotions, immediately at the same time, I'm observing myself with these emotions while I'm experiencing these emotions and feelings inside me. I'm watching myself and I'm asking myself straight away, is that mine? Is that related to something which is going on right now? Or is it something from the past? And if I realize it's something to do with the past, and I'm actually so-called doing time traveling right now, even if I'm doing that, I'm not blaming myself for that. Again, I'm accepting the situation. And just because I'm not resisting, I'm not fighting back, I'm not angry, I'm not stressed out because of that, the tension goes down. The understanding of the situation, the understanding of what's going on with me, why do I feel the way I feel, this is such a great power. It gives me control over my emotions. It gives me more control over the situation because I can see clearly, well, more clearly than when I'm completely taken over by the emotion and I react like me from the past or even somebody else from the past. Yes, and that was a great help. And right now it helps me tremendously, especially at work. And in many other situations in life, which is not easy for me. And I really wanted to kind of grasp it and understand why the contact with other people and why communication it's so difficult, why it's so stressful. And for me it had a really special meaning because I'm autistic, I'm in spectrum. High functioning, however, it already affects my life in many ways. So, of course, the communication for me with everyone around me was very important, but also very challenging. And my goal and my obsession was actually at least trying to understand what is going on, why people are behaving the way they are behaving, why I'm behaving and reacting the way I do. That became the key. And that's why I got myself into the subject. And this is my discovery, one of many. I'm not saying that this is only one reason. There is many reasons. Today I was just talking about this particular reason. Yes. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And have a nice day.